as we walk in the shadows of F1 eras past. V8 roars turn to whispers as they become the outcast, pushing boundaries to be green whilst improving the show and to be just as fast. History has its place in Formula One's evolution, but the time has come for the sport to journey down the road of its own revolution without confusion, to become its own solution. A new nose and new aspirations, reliability frustrations and fuel consumption causing complications are bound to cause strained relations. A new heart is required, with 6 cylinders firing, built for speed and endurance and for simply inspiring, without tiring or perspiring. Every fraction of a second exists only to make F1 history. Challenge the laws of physics, reward the brave, break spirits and spawn mystery. The glamour, the money, the danger and fame. The passion, the people, and the insatiable hunger to be crowned champions in this mystical motorsport game. Teammates shall attack with full conviction. Adamant facts of the past have now become fiction. 2 roosters in the henhouse may be the ultimate team sport contradiction. Behind pit walls the bullets soar as teams and drivers wage this war that shakes the sport, its fans and existence to its very core. All guns pointed squarely at Vettel and Newey, decidedly unable to claim amnesty from rivals who want nothing more than to abolish their dynasty. New shoes from Pirelli for the next 3 years might spawn some fears and even some cheers and jeers, but nothing is loved or lost without a few beers. Behind the scenes to witness war crimes, ducking behind options and primes, behind enemy lines, as the season unfolds to bring you the story. This is F1 2014.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the F1 magazine. Here's what's coming up. The latest from preseason testing in Bahrain, the latest Formula 1 news, and how the grid is shaping up for the 2014 season and the new rules and regulations introduced this year. The second preseason test in Bahrain has just come to an end, and once again it looks as though the Mercedes-powered cars are the ones to watch. Nico Rosberg set the fastest time over the 4 days, 1:33.283, which is just under a second shy of his 2013 pole position lap. The Mercedes-powered cars have dominated the top few positions on the timing screens. Ferrari, however, hasn't been far behind, but a heavy crash for Kimi Räikkönen on Saturday stopped the Finn from improving on his best lap. Meanwhile, the Renault-powered cars, particularly Red Bull, seem to be struggling. The champions have racked up the second fewest laps, with only Marussia having done less. Felipe Massa's former race engineer at Ferrari, Rob Smedley, has followed the Brazilian to Williams. The Briton will not, however, take up the same role with the Grove team. Instead, he will head up a new position as head of vehicle performance. Massa will be supported by Andrew Murdoch, whilst Valtteri Bottas will remain with Jonathan Adolles. We're set to see our first female take part in an official F1 session since Giovanna Marti in 1992. Wolff, wife of Mercedes chairman Toto Wolff, has been part of Williams' development program for a few years now, but the team has now given her the opportunity to test their new FW36 during 2 practice sessions this year. The Scottish driver described the chance as a challenge, but one she will relish. Japanese driver Kamui Kobayashi has given a damning verdict of the Caterham CT05. He claims the GP2 car would be quicker at the opening race of the season in Australia. He says the problems they're facing, partly because of the Renault power unit, has meant they've been unable to complete their test programs, but believes they can catch up before the opening race. Whilst it hasn't been officially ratified into the 2014 rules yet, the teams have agreed to some minor changes to the way the qualifying session works. Q1 will now last 18 minutes, 2 less than before, with Q2 remaining at 15 and Q3 has been extended by 2 minutes to 12. The 6 cars in Q2 will receive an extra set of option tyres for the race, whilst the top 10 will receive a set of option tyres which must be used during Q3 and then handed back. They will start the race on the tyres they used during their fastest lap from Q2. Track designer Hermann Tilke says the inaugural Russian Grand Prix is on schedule, despite works having to come to a halt whilst the Winter Olympics took place. The city of Sochi is due to play host to the first race in the country in mid-October, and Tilke says it will have a unique and special atmosphere.
Hi, I'm Nico Rosberg.
Hi, I'm Lewis Hamilton. It's time to get street smart.
I was faster than you that session.
No, you weren't.
For sure I was.
No, you weren't.
Well, okay, let's settle it now then.
Yeah, I got a stopwatch. Let's go.
Okay, come on.
All right. 1, 2, 3, go. 4.6.
Yeah, new record right there.
In 5 seconds, a driver has to jump out from the cockpit. Very, very quick movement. When the car is crashing and something is wrong about the car and the driver needs to come out very, very fast. So that's why the rule requires 5 seconds. They need to withstand to 2.5 tons of tensile load, so very, very high load.
In Formula 1, we have a 6-point harness seat belt, which we have to have our engineers strap us in with.
And once it's fixed up tightly, it's 2 things. One, it feels very, very safe, of course. But on the other hand, to breathe out there on the racing track, it does make it a lot more difficult. And that's what makes it tougher fitness-wise.
The driver has to stay in this monocoque for roughly 2 hours, but has to do quite a lot of action with the arm and as well with the leg. Obviously, it's not important only for Formula 1. It's important for all the road cars. Safety belts are so important to save life.
Okay. So, ready, set, go. 4.98. I beat you by half a second.
Twenty 2014 is an exceptional year for Formula 1. An absolute raft of regulation changes commanded us to make a very early start on this project. The F14T began life more than 2 years ago in order to give us sufficient time to do the ground-up redesign of every aspect of this car. A longer stroke DRS, a shallower profile to the rear wing section, and also pillar-mounted rear wings. At the front, only a small change visually, but a huge change aerodynamically. The wing is narrower by a few millimeters either side. It's only a small change, but it causes us to have to reinvent, almost from the beginning, our aerodynamic concept at the front end of the car. Although the external changes to the appearance of the car are already substantial, they're small compared to the changes that are going on beneath the skin.
We've gone from the normally aspirated 18,000 RPM V8s to a turbocharged 1.6 litre V6 with a much higher electrical content, so KERS in layman's terms, and a very strict fuel consumption. So not only have a 100 kilos maximum fuel for the race, but we also have a maximum consumption, or flow rate if you like.
This new power unit has as well presented us with big challenges in terms of packaging. The radiator size has increased significantly.
The biggest engine change, without doubt, that we've had since the turbos disappeared in the late 80s. Arguably much bigger because of all the electrical side of it. Obviously Renault, our partner, are the big players there in terms of the package itself. Our job is to install this in the neatest and most performant way we can.
For the first time, we see the introduction of the brake-by-wire control system for the brakes, a system which allows the brake feeling and consistency and also the control of the brake balance to be maintained during the braking manoeuvre as the effect of the energy recovery system, the ERS, waxes and wanes during the braking.
This is coupled with a much more complex energy recovery system with bigger batteries and now 2 electric motors. Energy is being recovered both from braking and heat. We go out from 60 kilowatts in the past years to 120 kilowatts, and the boost will be available for 33 seconds.
New season, new car, new rules, everything is pretty new. Challenge is really big, very exciting though. I think, yeah, we don't know exactly what's going on and where people are. It's the same every year when we start the season, but it's particularly the case right now with all the changing in the rules, changing of engine, changing of aerodynamics, more electrical help in the car. So yeah, some tough work for engineer drivers, understand and get on top of everything as quick as we can and hopefully faster than the other.
The biggest challenges for us to adapt to the widespread changes on the powertrain aerodynamics this year are going to result in significant operational changes from recent history in Formula 1.
I guess I've been around long enough that I did see the end of the turbo era and it sort of moving into the normally aspirated engines. Although that was, you know, a reasonable change, it was nothing compared to the power unit regulation changes that we have for this year. I think, you know, certainly on the power unit, it's the biggest change we've ever had.
A new era. F1 is going hybrid. Turbos are back. "2014, here we go. My engine's 1.6. What? I mean, the only thing that's missing is that you now tell me like we're doing double points just for the last race or something. I mean, that would be rubbish too, wouldn't it?
The FIA has introduced some major changes for the upcoming season. Drivers will now have to choose a permanent race number between 2 and 99 to use throughout their entire F1 career. The number 1 has been reserved for the current world champion and will therefore be used by Sebastian Vettel throughout 2014. A new rather controversial rule has also been introduced, which will see double points awarded at the final race in Abu Dhabi. The FIA believes this will keep the championship alive for longer, but has been criticised by fans and some drivers for devaluing the other 18 races on the calendar. A new 5-second penalty has been approved for minor infringements to penalise drivers without completely ruining their race. The penalty is added onto the driver's time at their next pit stop. However, if they've served all their pit stops during the race, it will be added onto their final time. The FIA has relaxed the rules surrounding end-of-race celebrations after Sebastian Vettel went against the rules and completed a number of donuts at the final 3 races of the 2013 season. The race winner only may now celebrate victory with donuts or by picking up a flag. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again ahead of the opening race of the 2014 season in Australia.